Revenue management just grows in complexity. How has technology supported distribution as a result of that?
Technology distribution and revenue management. I talk about the magic triangle between, well, at least, very basic hotel operations, between group sales, between transient business, and then revenue management and online distribution. As long as we can have the communication link between these three platforms, we're okay as hotel operators. I suppose the magic comes when, yes, they tell me that, okay, we're a Synexus property, but yes, when Sabre goes down, I hear about it instantly from my revenue manager, and I say, well, we might want to manage things manually online until we can get things back up. Might want to close down your busy days pretty much by hand. It pretty much becomes, can extremely large providers continue to deliver the availability that we pay for? And the answer is, as long as we can, we're great, and if not, there's big problems. So I have deep sympathies for the large chain brands who have to deal with 2,700 hotels.
So is, John, is mobile interactivity where you want it to be in hospitality, and how do you want guests to interact with the hotel?
I still feel like it's very early
Sure.
In the industry with hotel operators, going back to the acumen of the average hotel operator and the technology where they what they need to know nowadays. I definitely agree with Jeff. What he was saying is there's a lot more things that they need to know in today's world with all this influx of technology within the industry. I definitely don't think it's there. There's an increase in mobility and guest interactions with the hotel via mobile devices. I think the industry is going to move towards a lot of interesting things, now with Alexa in the room, introducing, virtual reality and things like that. Hotels are getting really creative to kind of lure the millennial guests and the different types of travelers that they feel need this kind of technology. So we're, as a company, as Whistle, providing a mobile guest platform for communication for hotel operators. We're still looking at different ways to innovate and different ways to bring something new to the table, not just have that basic guest interaction, but as well as provide them with something that kind of woos the guests in a sense, because as guests get used to something, it becomes part of their everyday norm. And then it's like, how do we continue getting this guest to be interested? So we're playing with things like AI, chat bots, and things of that nature. Obviously, we have other messaging platforms that give us a little bit more flexibility on what we can do. Shopping assistants. Cool new things that we've just introduced is an integration with TripAdvisor to allow them to leave reviews directly via mobile, SMS, text message, Viator. So providing the concierge experience for hotel operators that don't have a concierge desk. So you send over a simple clickable link that gives you tours and things to do in the area that you can book. So really, I feel like it's just not there yet, but it's definitely evolutionizing and growing within the industry.
Todd, how do you want guests to interact with your hotels? Is it augmented reality, Internet of Things type, full total interaction, or is that totally necessary, or how do you want?
It should be however they want it.
Sure.
We can figure out what that is and be able to do all those different things simultaneously.
Right.
You have to narrow down. Look, I don't spend a lot of time actually thinking in today. I do a lot of looking out over the next 3 years, kind of where do we need to be, and what are the things that are coming. And I was just looking at in the Wall Street Journal article about Google and the things that they're putting together and coming out with around augmented reality. It was kind of an interesting approach in what you can do. But it's still a ways off. It's consumer adoption, right? Is what's going to take time, and what they're comfortable with, and what they're willing to do, and afford from a device standpoint and anything else. That's why we are going to be stuck for a very long time with a proliferation of web browsers and phones and different devices of different sizes that we're going to have to be able to provide content to in some way, shape, or form. That in and of itself is a big challenge when you look at the size. I mean, today SkyTouch supports almost 7,000 hotels and 60,000 users and hundreds of millions of transactions daily. So being able to provide something that's easy and accessible to individuals and keeping up is going to be quite a challenge. I think the technology is going to evolve. It's already evolved faster than actually we can keep up. Our industry has always been behind. It was nice to see progress, but being able to keep up with the consumer, I think, is going to be an ongoing challenge for us.
I think the one thing that we forget being in another technology room is it's the service delivery point that happens. It doesn't matter how good your pod is or how good your app is or how good, whatever it is. If you're promising room service or you're promising towels or you're promising a toothbrush or you're just promising warm coffee, a lot of times I see the challenge is not delivering the technology to enable the guests to request coffee or request towels or to interact with getting their room changed or baking key. It's that whether it's a bot on the back end or a human or a robot, and I know we're going to jump to robots too, is how are you performing the service delivery part? And I think a lot of people, we looked at putting Alexa in the rooms when I was with Interstate. A lot of people forget those pieces, that now you've got 800 listening points in a hotel that might need 800 different things. Do you have the staff? Do you have the systems in place to track that is delivered and escalated and taken care of? That's the big thing that I think as technologists that we have to make sure we're having those conversations with the operations part of the team, because we have to work in conjunction with them. You don't want to turn something on, like for example mobile key, that all of a sudden the front desk staff is now inundated with people not understanding how to use their device without proper training. So I want to be hesitant about being excited about the technology and make sure we remember that our focus is customer service. And anyway, they want that service delivered is important, but let's make sure if we're going to offer it as a service delivery option, we have the staffing and the systems in place to deliver on that.
I couldn't agree more. I think oftentimes there's brands that want to innovate for the sake of innovating and not taking a step back to actually understand what the guests want, but even further is what the guests will use. I think there's a lot, and I'm fairly new in the industry, but you look at other industry verticals that are out there that are building technology that caters to the guest in the way that they're going to use it, whether it's grocery stores, whether it's the coffee shop down the street, whether it's, and I hate even saying airlines, but you look at how the guest is going to navigate through that company's product and build a system that's going to effectively allow that user to navigate through it without getting distracted. And I think sometimes there's so many opportunities for us as brands to offer the guest products that can get them distracted, where they have too many decisions and too many choices to make, as opposed to just getting them to where they need to be in an environment that allows them to.